Many years ago, when my hair was not so gray, I had a small braid. You can kind of see it here in the picture, in this picture. I hope you can see it. There it is. If you can see it back there on the back is my little braid. Anyway, nobody ever seemed to have a problem with it, although one colleague did think it was pretentious. No one ever seemed to have a problem, though, that is until he became an interim at a church here in California. One afternoon, when I was alone in my office, a member of the church appeared in the doorway and asked if we could talk. I said, of course. And she wanted to know, yes or no, was I gay? Yes or no? And my answer would determine if she would remain in the congregation. Now, this took place back before the ELCA, my denomination, changed its policy on openly queer clergy. And when she asked the question, immediately I said, it's the braid, right? And she admitted that it was. And also that I had been wearing a purple jacket lately. Well, it was Lent. And I started laughing. I started laughing, but then I got serious. And I told her that I would reveal my sexual orientation to her, even though it was none of her business. And when I said that I was not gay, she got a big smile on her face. And then I got angry. I said that I had the privilege of being honest with her, but I was feeling the presence of all of my brothers and sisters who had to either hide their orientation or lie about it in order to follow their calling. Those who had been removed from clergy rosters, seminarians who couldn't be approved for ordination. Well, I won't go into more details, but when I read about Republicans attacking James Talarico with implication that he's gay, I again saw red. Fox News commentator Jesse Waters thought he had the goods. Talarico's 37 and he's not married. Well, there's proof. Made me think of the church in rural Niagara Falls where I used to live that ultimately declined to call a male pastor they had liked all throughout their interviews. Why? He was a single man. Must be gay. Now, it seems that some have moved on from their homophobic rants to a more generalized attack on Talarico's manhood. Ted Cruz said, gotta say, if you were making a list of 1,000 adjectives to describe this guy, masculine would not be one of them. And Ken Paxton calls him radical Talarico, too low T testosterone for Texas. And Republican representative from Florida, Dan Weldon, thinks Talarico looks as though he could not name a single obscure wide receiver from the early 2000s. I guess real men would know about Keenan McCardle. Okay, I had to look that up. And not to be outdone, Stephen Miller said on Fox News that it was brave, courageous that the Democratic Party would choose Texas, of all places, to nominate their first transgender Senate candidate. I mean, they truly have Talarico derangement syndrome. But really, it's simply indicative of their warped ideas of both men and women and about gender in general. Well, we saw last weekend what the MAGA male role model is. Obviously, real men are like the cage fighters who beat each other bloody on the White House lawn. And like one of the winners who ended his post-match interview by shouting, Michelle Obama is a man, to cheers from the crowd. And this after giving props to his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's quite the accomplishment. Racism and misogyny all wrapped up in the flag and Christian nationalism. But way back in 2016, Michelle Obama said, and it's still important to remember, let's be very clear, strong men, men who are truly role models, don't need to put down women to make themselves feel powerful. And I would say don't need to put down gay people, trans people, actually any people to make themselves feel more powerful. People who are truly strong lift others up. People who are truly powerful bring others together. And she was not talking about a cage match. James Talarico had his response too. It would have been very easy for him to clap back at Cruz and Miller and their ilk with anger and demeaning remarks, but he didn't. He told this story. He said, in a time when there's so much debate about what it means to be a man, my dad showed me every Saturday morning. He would mow our lawn, and then without telling anyone, without anyone asking him, he would go next door and mow our neighbor's lawn because she was elderly and a widow. Never talked about it. He just did it because that's what a man does. Call me old-fashioned, but a man takes responsibility. He upholds his commitments to his family and his neighbors, and he does what's right, even when no one is watching. And then this is as disparaging as he got. He said, I welcome this debate about what it means to be a man, and I don't think Ken Paxton or Ted Cruz are in a position to tell anybody what a real man is. Here's what real men don't do. They don't lie and cheat their way through life. They don't enrich themselves by stealing from other people, and they don't sell their soul to the highest bidder. Real men serve others. Weak men serve themselves. Well said. Well said. Amidst all of the nastiness that's being hurled about, and I'm sure will get worse as the election season continues, we have got to resolve to support, defend, care for those who are attacked for just being who they are. Gay, transgender, man, woman, intersex, black, brown, white. And in the midst of oily, pumped up gladiators, we have to affirm those men who are the real role models of masculinity. Thanks for listening.